Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. We are having almost a doubleheader this week. This is our full moon musing and meditation and sound nourishment for you. Wow, this lunar cycle has seemed full and we are halfway through it. We will be entering the full moon where I said about 5:22 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's UTC 7 or 8 here on the Pacific West Coast. And in this moment, we have the opportunity to deepen what we started in the beginning of this lunar cycle. And I want to share, it's really important as we continue to deepen our understanding of our relationship with ourself and nature around us, that this is unique to you and your eternal journey, not just the overarching thematics that we have been told over this lifetime and our ancestors have been told over several lifetimes. And when I wrote down for this, just even to record this part of the segment, I wrote honesty and course correction. And if we look back just at the beginning of this, there was this quality of really pushing forth as we entered into spring of, I would say, darkness, like getting ready to peel off a certain layer. Purification has been part of the theme of this lunation, and a welcoming to stay in a high vibrational state and to assist yourself to really see the emptiness, the quality of emptiness within every moment. So that would look like if someone is yelling at you, that you can see that it really has an intrinsic value of nothingness there and everything at the same moment. And what this does is it allows you to start to see the true nature beyond what's unfolding. That coupled with this really beautiful moment for all of humanity where we're getting invited to shed the things that cause each and every one of us fear, anger, things that don't belong here, occult practices that cause harm, that have been superimposed like the Gregorian calendar upon humanity. And when we look to Eastern history and a lot of history that hasn't been told, we can start to understand that we have a limited lens within this lifetime of our true history. And we could spend a lot of time trying to dig that all up. However, there's enough that's accessible that we can start to connect some dots also with physical things that we can track down in locations and archaeological digs and texts that have been preserved and can be verified to be a certain date, that we start to understand that, one, we're not the only thing to exist. And two, that from an Eastern lens, especially from a Tibetan lens, that there are many world systems. And when we start to allow ourselves to sit and contemplate and reflect that, it's nothing that you have to immediately just buy off as an absolute truth. However, part of the spiritual practice, any spiritual practice, is to have time of self-reflection and walking around so you can examine the relationship. And then sure enough, when one does that, one starts to see in this dimensional field called the earth plane, the earth, this home, this sanctuary, starts to see reflections to help one understand that contemplation. And so during this new moon cycle, there's been a lot of just energies coming in and pushing. And it's similar to when something is ready to fade away, it might try to grasp on. And this is what I would say is a moment where the wickedness within each and every one of us is ready to peel away. So you might be more acutely aware if you take time to really examine, as I spoke about earlier this week, your mind, your words, and your actions. This will start to give you a nature, and you could pretend to be peaceful and kind and practice it, which I hope you do. However, when you allow yourself to continually observe yourself in every aspect of your life, this will allow those little morsels to come up to the surface, and that's where the honesty is needed. And in there, you start to notice your own integrity. You start to notice, are you really for humanity, or are you just for yourself? Are you truly for equanimity, peace, and kindness, or do you have agendas because of your own inner afflictions? And those are humbling moments, and that's part of this purification process. I feel the reason so many people are yelling and screaming in the outside world are a couple points, is that part of our humanity that we are engaging with our mind stream is what would be called hungry ghosts or hell beings, excuse my expression, that really are not with an eternal being, yet they're a manifestation of our mind, where our thoughts go when we start attacking one another, or we feel threatened by one another, and when we have all those quote unquote 7 deadly sins that we're gluttonous, we have envy, all these things that create our reality and create disturbance in our mind stream. So in this moment, we have this beautiful, beautiful offering within our collective mind stream and our individual, that we can start to be honest with ourselves. And it's not like to sit down and say, okay, I'm this, that, or the other, and I'm going to do better next time. It's to really just welcome yourself to start being honest every single day, and sweeping out, clearing out what doesn't serve, and having that self-correction mechanism. And what this does is you'll start to see where you have been not truthful to yourself. See, if we're not honest with ourselves, we can't have honest relationships. We can't do that. It's not possible. Yeah, sure. Maybe there are aspects. Let's say you're 30% honest with yourself, then 30% of your relationships will have the capacity to be that authentic. And we're moving into that era of authenticity, which is required for mastery. And so the hurdle that we all as humans here in this moment have within our mind stream and in this physical dimension is that we have been trained, we have been programmed to really be in a competitive state versus a harmonizing state with one another. And so what this does is it creates us to do, or inspires us involuntarily and sometimes voluntarily, to do things that aren't honest and truthful for self and others. And social media is a great way. People will borrow and steal left, right, and center. They'll even take on people's characteristics. And this goes into some mental pathologies when people start imitating one another. This isn't a play, this is real life, supposedly, in social media. So it's important that if you are inspired, that you start looking inward. You start really getting to know yourself, because when you've been spoon-fed fashion trends, color trends, food trends, character trends, soundbite trends, everyone doing a performative art, not for the true art of it, but to get ahead. And that's like someone pretending they meditate, but they don't really. That's like someone pretending that they study for maybe school, but they fake their way through it. All these things are at that catch-up point. And so as we look at this external mirror of ourself, we'll also be seeing really clearly where the dissonance is out in the world around us. And so I really encourage you not to react too much to that right now, but to have compassion for one another and really look in. And it's possible that some of the things you see is part of what I'm going to call, quote unquote, your wickedness. I say that with a little giggle, so you don't take it too seriously. But it's possible that's part of your own that needs to be cleared out, whether someone's been imposing it upon you, it's like something that a label they put on you that's not true, or that you have that affliction yourself. So this is why it's better to look in versus point fingers on the outside world. Everyone's been yelling, screaming, playing tug of war for way too many years here now. And it's time to really say, wow, I have a chance to really take an inventory for myself. And in that process, I'm creating a course correction. And so when I'm counseling even couples, I'll explain this, especially if they're not enjoying each other. A relationship, partnership will have many evolutions. It'll change and shift many times over, and it requires two people to be willing to change the dance steps. And so sometimes one person's ready to change the dance steps, the other one isn't. But if that one person has the courage to shift, that actually invites the other partner to shift too. So collectively, if each and every one of you get really honest with yourself at this apex in our lunar cycle and decide, don't take it all at once, meaning trying to create a disturbance in your life, but take little micro bites each day, do a little cleansing and purification each day on the inside. What will happen is that will, one, put you in people, places, and things that you can harmonize with. Two, it'll start to shift the energies that are around you, and either they will harmonize with you or dissonance will occur. And those are the things that are being pulled away. And I think that's also why a lot of people, based on what I hear in my private practice and then see in and around my world, is a lot of people are being met with parts of their past that weren't resolved. And be careful, because there's more than likely a trick there. Because sometimes when we have attachments to how things were and then try to re-meet it and recreate it, understand the distance between that time when maybe you broke away from an opportunity or a person or that, a lot has shifted, a lot has changed. Everyone in this earth plane is a different state that they were even 4 or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 solar cycles ago. So keep that in mind. Hope can sometimes spring eternal. However, be honest with yourself. Maybe just let that go. Be like, just wave and allow it to pass you right by. Because you will know if something has profoundly shifted. And oftentimes the paths that we lead are really about us mastering ourselves and deciding to exit those turnstiles that we've been in over and over and over again. So, exciting times. And I really, pray for each and every one of you every day. For some of you, feel free to anyone, if you want me to pray or hold vision or meditation for you, please feel free to put it in the comments below or send me a message. I have a practice that I participate in several times a day. And I'm happy to do that and do that for clients and family. It's one of the things that I feel like I can be of service and enjoy being of service that way. And you can do this for other people, rejoicing for someone, celebrating them, championing for them, pulls you out of these behaviors that they propelled us in to be in kind of the survival of the fittest, and only certain people get to succeed and all of that. Those are all old paradigms, and they're based on a very much a dark, that's why we're getting this opportunity to shed our shadow. That's another cliche term that's used right now, but it's understood, so I'll use it. We're getting this chance, but really what we're doing is we're shedding these veils that were imposed upon us. Not all of them are yours. However, we've assumed them because of the set and setting that we had the destiny of being in. So as you shed these unnecessary veils, you'll start to get to know your true self. And this is a really important aspect from this point until your next gateway comes up, meaning your end and beginning gateway comes up. I hope that you spend time getting to know yourself and that you can mitigate any grasping that you do when you see others or you see nature or something that you feel isn't right in your own mind, that you can set that grasping down and really get to know yourself. Really be in joy and awe of the miracle that you are. And as you do that, it'll get more and more comfortable, and you will have what I'm calling the course correction. We're being offered it. Just imagine you just pulled off at a rest stop today or tomorrow or whenever you're listening to this, and you were given a couple maps to choose from. And at this moment, you get to be on the map that you choose, and with a willingness to continue to refine and really be in truth for yourself and for others. And that, I've talked about that point. This is like that horizon point within self, is that when we can be radically honest with ourselves, then we become objective. We can see what is. The trickster can't exist above that horizon point. It's not possible. And at that point, you stay in a higher resonance, not only for yourself, but for others. But as soon as any of us get jostled and drop down below that horizon point, it's very easy to have that trickster antagonize, push buttons, rattle our cage. And that dissonance is what that energy feeds off of. So if inspired, I encourage you, and how you do it is it starts with you, because you can't pretend to be in this objective state with yourself. And then the love, the compassion, the equanimity start to really sink in. And then there's something beyond that. But you get to, be in that place. And so the cool part is the stuff that you leave behind below that horizon starts to just fall away and becomes compost, if you will, in our gardens that can be reutilized for something else, that new birth of something. And nothing goes to waste. It all can be converted, and it's a practice. So the last part I'll say here is, if inspired, get really clear with what was happening 2 weeks ago. That was your medicine. That would be for the biological female. That would be your menstruation phase. That's when you do a let go. You actually are shedding the downward pulling, the inward time for dreaming, and to understand what you're ready to let go of. And you're not letting go just for yourself. You're letting go for all your ancestors, your family, your children. All of that is happening every lunar cycle. And then right now, this is that time where there's the potency of the potential for life, the seed that gets released to make a human life or many kinds of lives here in the earth plane. And if you're not in the place, or you're past the place where you want to make a family, then this is a time for you to harness the energy and to create and pay attention. Even if you are in baby making years, you still want to use this full moon as an opportunity to harness and place the energy where you need it. And there is the potential, as I've mentioned before, that there could be some jostling. Sometimes that dissonance that happens helps you release those things that need to go into the earth. And that's what the new moon informs us, like, this is, what's going to be happening. And sure enough, it's been like that, right on course. And so we want to ride the apex of this wave throughout the rest of the lunar cycle for our own benefit. Because, have about a week and about 10 days to enjoy this and to really take good action. And then we start listening for the next wisdom coming through. It will be unique for each and every one of you. And that's the final thing I want to include here, is that we have a lot of systems, and no offense to all my astrology friends, there's a lot of systems that have been overlaid with the banker's calendar. And those two are ready to transform and be liberated, because there are manipulations in those two. And that's really when, anyone's not telling the truth, or not being honest with themselves or others. It's a manipulation, which both are not beneficial karmic action. And it's a learning process to understand what that means. So the reason I bring up astrology is it's a map that you can reference, but understand that right now we are going through a huge upheaval in our collective conscious, and it's best to meet the moon when it's happening versus having predictive programming, forecasting before we get here. Because what happens is your mind buys into the thematics that, as an astrologist, someone might be reading or interpreting, but not waiting to feel it and report on it once it comes in. It's kind of like, someone telling you what's going to happen without seeing if it happens, maybe writing it down, sealing an envelope, I don't know, and then reporting on it after, like what really just happened, So there's a shift, a dynamic that's going to change. And this is why in tribal situations, like, people listen. They listen very deeply. They speak a lot less, and they listen, and they wait for the cues, the calls to take action. It's not so much about these current state astrological phenomena that actually lock us in. And so I hope that all my astrology friends open up beyond what you think you know, and really sync up to what's happening within nature and our ecosystem, and even the understanding of what the moon is or is not. But right now it impacts our ecosystem, so it's important we pay attention to it, and the quality of the sun and suns. Some days there's sometimes more than one close cosmic being with us at the same time. All right, so from there, we're going to go into silent meditation. I welcome you to come up into a seated position if you can, lifting your back up, 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 and then dropping those shoulders down. And if you need to lay down or recline, that's fine. Please just follow along with the breath and your awareness. And then gently from there, just pick a focal point to gaze at, especially if you historically have a busy mind. And then taking a nice, gentle breath in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, I want you to follow your breath and keep your eyes at a soft gaze down in front of you or an inward point. And gently just taking one more breath in and out. Gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
예용 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 예용
Taking a soft, gentle breath, breathing in and out. And as you bring your awareness back to here, I welcome you just to take a moment when you're ready to take a few breaths in and out. And then gently from there, rise up into a seated position. And then gently as you rise back up, just bringing that spine up, 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 up. And then taking a nice deep breath in and out. Good. And then gently from there, I just want to welcome you to express silent gratitude for all aspects of yourself. And then gently from there, as you breathe in and out, I welcome you to extend, if inspired, some kindness, compassion out beyond here to a person, people, and or place that you feel it might be needed, wanted, and welcomed. Taking another deep breath in and out. And just allowing yourself, welcoming yourself to be for a moment, allowing everything that you received and was transmitted just to wash over you like a nice spring shower, and letting that reception help purify you in this moment. And as inspired, as we move into the next, I encourage you each day to surrender to self, surrender to those aspects of yourself that are ready to be cleaned out, like maybe your closet or under your bed or wherever it might be. Use that metaphor as that is where you can place this effort. And as each one of us is inspired to do this, not because I've spoken it, but because it organically is arising in the system around us, in our collective consciousness, we will be participating in the course correction. And that's exciting and blessed. And may we all have the courage and strength to shake off those fields of energy that don't serve, that create dissonance for ourselves and others, and return to our natural state of being, which is harmony, which is our ever-present calm. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening here in this moment, creating the space for you to be and receive. And I want to thank Random Rap. He has a great tour coming up in the summer months and May and spring. So check him out. The link's below. And he has new music, all these great collaborations that he does. Super excited. He's coming to the West Coast soon. And then thank you, Dante Marino and Kadri Scott, for your contributions. We're going to exit out with a song called River. I hope you stay and listen to it. It's very much about change. Until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
Something changed, it'll feel so strange now. And if you show what remains, I will never say no. And like a river flows, my love remains, and I'm not ready to let go. So please just stay, Jasmine. Warm air and cinnamon wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, but we just stand still. There was love, watch it fade. Don't you feel so strange now? And how do you know people change if they never say so? And like a river flows, your love has strayed, 'cause you were ready to let go. I'll do the same, Jasmine. Warm air and cinnamon wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, and we just stand still. Jasmine, warm air and cinnamon and wood burning, children laughing and people passing. The world spins, but we just stand still. We had love, what remains? Everything's so clear now. And change, but they never